Okay, first of all, I want to thank the board to, giving us the funds. We had, about $5,500 to pull this off. And so, anyway, we appreciate that. Okay, we went to bed. Okay, and first of all, too, I want to introduce the builders of the booth. And they're all three of them here. The first one is the designer and my husband, Dan. Stand up. The two others are Doug Lura and Dave Wice. He's only been here a year in our county, and he just really put a lot of effort in, and all of them, they put in between 10 and 12 hours a day, 24. I mean, for about a month and a half to get this done, besides with the committee. And so here, Cody Hart, who's our council president, will say a few words.
First of all, 4-H would like to obviously thank the board and Janet in particular for the opportunity to do this. Turned out to be a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, it was a lot of fun. Thanks to these three gentlemen over here, we put together, as you'll see here in a moment, a booth that competed well with the other booths at the State Fair, most of which were built by professional contractors. The presentation Donna has here will take you through step by step the evolution of that booth from the first meetings of the committee to the picture of the final product that we presented at Sacramento. This was at our very first committee meeting. The mesh you see there on the right-hand corner of the whiteboard was our very first take at what the booth might look like. We had a 16 by 16 foot opportunity, and as you can see, the space we were allocated was roughly diamond shaped. So we took advantage of that to create an opportunity to draw visitors into Mariposa County while they were at the State Fair. So this was our very first attempt at the diagram. This is what it looked like after Dan got a hold of that very rough document. It turned into a plan, a professional-looking plan. These are Dan's drawings with respect to what the booth would actually ultimately look like, taking into consideration the dimensions we had available. And what you see here, this map was located, you'll see later when you see the entire booth, you'll see this map prominently on the outside of the booth. One of the requirements was a 16 by 20 foot map of California with the location of Mariposa County highlighted on the map. And Donna was kind enough to create that map for us. This is construction. You can see the three fine gentlemen that we introduced earlier here hard at work in putting the booth together.
We did that facility
Brian Bullis was kind enough to give us room at the fairgrounds in Building 8 to put the booth together. The idea was to have the booth completely constructed here in Mariposa County, completed architecturally so that we could take it down in several pieces, transport to Sacramento and put it back up there without having to do the actual construction in Sacramento. You can see the booth taking shape here. There's Dan precariously perched on the ladder there. These two beams that you see here, this picture actually doesn't do them justice, but I had one lady approach me at the State Fair and asked, how did you get these trees from Mariposa County to Sacramento? I had to explain to her that in truth they're not trees, they are cleverly constructed disguises. Dan actually built what, as you'll see later, appear to be two huge pine logs holding up the entrance to the booth. We had, as you can see, some help from the CDC fire camp in getting it loaded into the truck, into the U-Haul truck, once it was constructed to get it to Kalispell. Beth Broomfield was the driver. This is Dan building. One of the requirements of the booth was that there be some animation, some action all the time in the booth. And Dan's answer to that was to design Bridal Falls. As you'll see when you see the booth, when you stand in the doorway of the booth, it's actually like looking straight down the valley from the tunnel parking lot. And of course, the first thing you see on the right as you look down that view is Bridal Falls. And Dan constructed a replica of Bridal Falls that actually was running the entire time during fair. So we had a live waterfall in our booth during the entire time. This is in Sacramento, the booth being assembled. We had, as you can see there at the top, we had a huge amount of help from, many volunteers from the 4-H community to come and help us get it constructed and built at Sacramento. This is, you can see here, this is the two logs that I mentioned earlier, and then Dan constructed the booth in such a way so as to give us the maximum amount of area for display purposes, so we could actually bring people into Mariposa County by showing them the beauty of the place we live. There's Bridal Falls getting ready to go up. And you can see in this picture here the background that Dan created from photographs of the valley, so that it actually did look like you were looking into the Yosemite Valley when you approach the booth. You can see another example of it here. And then this banner hung above the booth. That banner, how big was that banner, Dan?
3.5 by 8 feet.
And it hung directly above the entrance to the booth. With a replication of the courthouse. These are the panels once they were finished. These are the panels on the outside of the booth that show the various wonders of Mariposa County. There were, I forget what all the categories were now. There were lakes and rivers, ranch land, hotels and inns. Each panel had a theme. What? Oh, yeah, we had a street sign, but we had various donations from members of the community. They were just wonderful in providing us what we needed in order to get the artifacts in the booth. You can see here some examples of the artifacts that were loaned to us for this purpose. The little Boot Jack Lane sign from the Boot Jack store, the horse collars. This is the doll that was from Linda, is that right? Linda. Dolls downtown. The community was wonderful in providing artifacts for us to put in the booth. And here you can see this is looking to the left as you enter the booth. Who provided the collection? The Indian artifact collection. There was a whole collection of Indian artifacts from the Mariposa County tribes, and then we had a hog's head, we had a deer's head, we had various animals. The wineries and brewery were well represented. We had lakes and rivers represented in Mariposa County. There were the booth literally took into account every aspect of Mariposa County. This is a glance into the booth at the backdrop. You can see the lighting in the background. Dan ran lighting all the way across behind the replication of the Yosemite Valley, making it a truly three-dimensional experience. It's a wonderful thing to see. These are some shots of the other booths that were there, that were represented. It's interesting to bear in mind that most of these booths were built by professional contractors. These are people who do this for a living. And our engineer and our three constructors here put together a product that was easily in this class, and in fact, quite a step above many of the booths that were there that were built by professional contractors. It's an example of some of the people who man the booth, and also this is one of the ribbons that we were presented in Mariposa County. The booth ended up taking the silver award in Sacramento, just a few points shy of a gold award. You can see some of the people here who were kind enough to man the booth and ensure that the booth was manned every day of fair. Every single day of fair, there was some representative from in the booth from Mariposa County. It could not have been done without a great deal of cooperation and help. These are some of the people who contributed, staffed the booth, helped build the booth, helped do the decorating in the booth. It was a monumental success, and we owe that success obviously to a number of people. But again, we'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to go to Sacramento and do this. It was an eye-opening experience for us. It was an eye-opening experience for the youth who participated and got to be part of the process. The tourism people were absolutely wonderful to us. They provided us with a plethora of collateral that we could hand out about Mariposa County. And also the shirts. Donna's modeling the shirt here. Everybody who manned the booth got one of these shirts. The shirts themselves were donated by the tourism people, and then one of our 4-H leaders, Karen Cutter, who has an embroidery business, did the actual embroidery on the shirt. And you probably can't read it from where you are, but it says Destination Yosemite on the shirt. So everybody who manned the booth was wearing a shirt like that. We are extremely fortunate in that our local county fair has given us permission to reconstruct this booth at the county fair. So you will be able to see firsthand what the booth looked like at the county fair this year. It will be in Building A. And thanks to Dan and his crew again for reconstructing the effort. It's a monumental chore to build it, to take it down, to move it, to put it back up again. It's a truly monumental chore. So we owe a huge debt of gratitude to these 3 folks over here on the other side of the room for agreeing to do that, not once but twice for us. So we do invite you, when you come to the county fair, do come by and see the booth. You have every right to be very proud of the representation you had in Sacramento for Mariposa County.
I just want to let you know who's on the committee. Of course, Cody and his wife Kathy, and our vice president of council was Bob Mason, and Ben Broomfield, our community club leader from Triangle, Marianne Fisher from Captain's Valley CCL, and husband, and Amy Gibson, Sonny Palmer, Karen Cutter, Lana Booth, and Jeff Hens from Tourism Bureau. Ron Loya came to the meeting for getting antiques from the museum. Leroy Radonovich for photographs, Nancy Billings for photographs, and Rochelle Broomfield. Did I forget anybody? So anyway, we met at least 4 different times, and then came up with what you saw. So hope you were pleased, because we're very proud. And we want to give you the ribbon, for letting us do this. And I want all the people who helped with the booth stand up and introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Kathy Hart. Karen Peneschi.
Dave Rice-Camp. Douglas Loya. Dan Wice. And she did help.
Jeanette did all the lettering, Douglas works in Mariposa County. And then that side of it was the website. Also,
and one of the benefits, one of the reasons we truly thank the board is there was additionally a financial award for the booth, and that's going to go to the 4-H program. And we really, what's that? We haven't received it. We don't know what the amount is yet. We can kind of guess at what the amount might be, but we haven't received the check yet. But that amount of money will go far. And the board probably knows it takes about $10,000 a year to get the kids through a 4-H program.